Oof. The Epstein gang is getting worse. We're gonna go through it. Welcome. I'm Rob. I cover the news. I do news. I bring you the news. I try to collect the news from from the news orchard. Clearly, I go out every afternoon and I check the news orchard and I harvest what is ripe and I sort through it and pick it with my hands and get the ripest news for you. And then I put it all in the bushel and I carry it to the donkey and load it up on the saddlebags. And me and my donkey head back down that long, dusty road to bring you the internet, the news. So after being out in the news orchard today and seeing all the very ripe news to be picked, I thought, Rob, you usually only go live on weekdays. Come here. But we got to go live to talk about some of the mess that is happening to the Epstein gang. I feel like if this was, old Western, spaghetti Western style, they would be the Epstein gang. Hide your children, not your wives, but just hide your kids, because the Epstein gang is in town. Adults, be safe. And this story continually, it grows and grows. And you know what's weird is like, if we just had all the files, we could just get to the bottom of this. I'm afraid this story goes all the way to the top. So, there would have to be impeachments. Can you impeach Congress and the Senate? In the House and the Senate? Can you impeach them? Some of these people, if you didn't hear about Epstein texting this one rep from the Virgin Islands while she was interviewing Michael Cohen, I think I shared that video from the Washington Post in my community posts. So I suggest you go watch that. I'm not going to play it here. There's so many facets to the Epstein gang and their wrongdoings and their infiltration. Our government has been compromised, folks. Hold on. Come here. Come here, you. And me and my herd of little hyenas. This is the rare all black hyena. If you've never seen one, they're very rare. They are an exotic species of miniature hyenas, rare all black. And me and her, we go out into the news orchard. We're sifting and sorting and harvesting the ripest news to bring to you. That's what I do. I try to bring you the news. And then we, like Salt Bay, we salt it, we chop it up, we satire it up, we joke about it, because the lamestream media isn't going to cover this in the way that we're gonna, with the God's honest truth, nothing but the truth, so help me, Job. Interesting comment. Anyways, so we're gonna start covering this, but again, there is so much. I don't even know if we can cover all of the Epstein gang troubles. No accountability yet, just lots of troubles. Since I was thinking before I went live, I was like, has there been any good that Epstein name and his gang? Dirty Donny, Bubba, who else is in the gang? Ghislaine, Alan Dersh, Billy Gate. Has there been any good brought into the world from this? And you'd think the collection of them, they have billions, if not trillions of dollars. And all they did was bring hurt, suffering, oppression, and abuse into this world. So if that's not proof enough to tax billionaires at 100%, everything over 999 million taxed at 100%, these people are wildly irresponsible with their money. They're not good people. I don't know what proof would be then. So before we get into that, I need to talk to you. Welcome. I'm Rob. I go out into the harvesting orchard of news every weekday and sometimes the weekends to bring it to you. We're going to talk about Epstein, Bubba, Dirty Donald, the whole gang. We're going to brush up on old Megyn Kelly, that disgusting, soulless succubus is defending in the most heinous way. I had some great audio from a teenager who was rebuttaling Megyn Kelly's thing, and then it got taken off of Reddit. So I don't have that audio. If I find it, I will post it in my community tab. So please, if you could, support the channel, join our community, hit subscribe, hit the notification bell. Oh, that was you. And join us on our road to 10,000 subs. I can't do it without you. I clearly don't have any advertisers or sponsors. I do not advertise anything on this channel. So this channel, this community, this news orchard harvesting with me and my little miniature exotic hyena. Come here. Are you coming back over here? She's going to come back over here. See, me and my miniature all black hyena go out into the news orchard to harvest the news just for you. I subscribe. Thank you, Michaela Tracy. I appreciate you. Appreciate you. Bubba must be freaking out right now. We'll get into it. That guy making jokes early. We'll get into it. And weirdly enough, we know who Bubba is not. This has been cleared up. I link all the articles I plan to talk about down in the description. What's up, Raygun? Good to see you. I link everything I plan to talk about in the description so you can read it for yourself. Okay? I don't know if other tubers, other creators do that for you, but it always bugged me when I would watch other people and they would say, links in the description. I go right to the description. It wasn't there. And I thought, how convenient. So everything I plan to talk about, the Newsweek article, the Snopes fact check, the ProPublica reports, the Megyn Kelly Mother Jones article, and I forget what else. It is linked in the description, okay? So you can read it for yourself and make your own opinions. You can, get a new brain wrinkle for yourself by reading. But I do that for you. And in the Newsweek article, they address who that guy was referencing, Bubba. And we can cross one person off the list. Interesting enough, it's probably that one person you think it is. Okay, so yes, if you could hit subscribe, hit the notification bell. It means the world to me because again, this kind of news satiring isn't very friendly to advertisers. When I say we should tax billionaires, you know who usually has most of the money? It's billionaires. And they don't really advocate for this message. If anything, they pay people like Tim Pool, people like Ben Shapiro, people like these right-wing grifters to say, oh man, just let that market be unregulated until they can all buy each other up. Larry Ellison's your friend. Peter Thiel is your friend. That's what Joe Rogan's doing right now. Joe Rogan's having all Peter Thiel's close associates on with the CIA he has on occasionally to tell you how great of people these people are. Listen, they just have $1 trillion and they need more. You got to be taxed for it. They can't. Do you know how much their lifestyle costs? They can't afford a tax. So they clearly make a shitload of money. I don't make any or almost none here, but I have no advertisers. I told you, the day I get an advertiser, because if you see me advertising for my toothpicks, which I don't have on me right now, you'll know I scored my first advertiser. So until then, make Argentina great again. It's more like make America Argentina again. Uh-oh. We got a creep in the chat. And hey, Red Hatters, just know, if you're going to come in here and mouth off about Trump, once my mods get here, they might just sit you out for 24 hours. But the real trouble that you're in is once you identify that you're a MAGA, we understand you to not be safe around people's children. You support a creep. And we're going to get into it. We are going to get into it. America's been sending 40 to 80 mil a week to the Taliban. Can you cite your source? I don't doubt it. You know, we're sending 40 billion to Argentina, sending billions to Israel, sending billions to Ukraine. We're sending billions everywhere except for to our own citizenry. In fact, Donald Trump did the opposite. He starved the Americans. He took their money. Oh, and you know what? That's a great kickoff. What's happening? We're going through the news. Shane Raines. I'm going through the news. And one of the stories, hold on, we're going to go through some meme news. I always like to bring you some funny memes, some funny photos before we get kicked off, and leave it to the internet. This is one thing I didn't have when I was growing up. You know, they say, oh, now kids, everything's recorded, you're being surveilled. Yeah, but you also get funny ass photos like this. So, you know, you get some cool ass pictures. So I'll just show you some of the best of the stuff I found through the web today while perusing the interwebs. You'll get this once we go through this, the news of today. The emails were Vladimir Putin apparently has photos of dirty Donald Trump, Jeffrey Epstein's best friend, blowing Bubba. Who's Bubba? We don't know, but we know one guy who isn't Bubba. We're going to get to it. I love this one. And to think the real ballroom was his mouth all along. Oh, dirty Donald. Dirty Donald. I love this one. I wanted to make this one. Corporate needs you to find the difference between this picture and this picture. They're the same picture. You guys remember The Office? Oh, this is funny. And we're going to get to the emails. You and your boy Donny can make a remake of the movie Get Hard. Remember that movie with Kevin Hart and P. Diddy's Freak Off host? If you don't know, you can look up. I'm not sure if the videos have been wiped off of the internet. But Kevin Hart would host. He would be the host where they walk around with the camera and film. And Kevin Hart would host P. Diddy's Freak Off parties. I'm not sure how he got Oscar hosting duties. But again, this Epstein thing, this P. Diddy thing, all these things, they go right to the top. That's why I keep saying we got to tax these billionaires, man. They're wildly irresponsible with their money. You know, they do not do good things with their money. So we got to tax them. So hard workers like you and I, we can afford egg. But we're going to get to this. If you don't see, where is it? Right here. Sorry, I'll move my finger, but we're looking right here. Ask him if Putin has the photos of Trump blowing Bubba. We're going to get to it. Oh, this was a funny one. Donica Lewinsky. When Trump calls you his big, beautiful bill. Who knew? You know, who knew Donald Trump, the reason he named it a big, beautiful bill was a secret homage the whole time. Here's a fun one. This is an oldie but a goodie. Just wanted to remind you, all you conservative value people, remember, your conservative value leader cheated with a porn star on his wife and then paid her hush money. Oh, here's a funny one. Forrest Trump. I gotta find Bubba. We're gonna go shrimping. Ooh, I don't want to know what shrimping is. Did you guys see this one? That was a funny one. I don't know how much I could show, but that was a funny one. Where else are we? Where else are we? Oh, that's one of the stories we're gonna get to. If you know the story about the earlier emails where Epstein, Jeffy Epi, Donald Trump's best friend for over 15 years, Jeffy Epi called Donald Trump the dog that didn't bark. And somebody said, maybe the dog couldn't bark because his mouth was full. Just asking questions, folks. And here's one for, here we go. All you people that like to say TDS, you know, Trump derangement syndrome, which really explains people who would still support him after, you know, you knew just an 18th of what we know. Here, time. The time has come, Trump supporter. The time has come. Just admit you were conned. You know, it's no fault of your own. You believed someone. You believed in somebody. That shows you had character. You had enough character to trust somebody. Once you knew he was lying, then it shows your lack of character and your willingness to, you know, support somebody who is one of the worst people that Earth has seen in a long time. So Trump supporters, your time has come. All right, but we gotta get to some news. Where do we start? Where do we start? Where do we start? Now you know why in old Jeffrey Epstein's that's all, folks. His deposition, they said, have you ever socialized with Donald Trump in the presence of females under the age of 18? And he pleaded the fifth, like an innocent person would. What did Donald Trump say about pleading the fifth? He like knew you were guilty or something. It's so funny. In this day and age of the internet, man, you can stump these people out with their own words. All right, so before we get to the news, because there is some good news. There is some good news, okay? Before I play the good news, I just want to remind you, hit subscribe, hit the notification bell. I'm here every single weekday, sometimes on the weekends. You caught me, you caught me, you caught me. Sometimes if the news is juicy enough, ripe on the vine, and old juicy enough, I'll pluck that sucker, and me and my old miniature hyena will hoof it on the Ankle Express up that long and dusty, dirty road right here to the internet, where I come and deliver that plump and juicy news right to you. So hit subscribe. I'm Rob. Nice to meet you. Where are you from? Where in the world are you from? Carmen, San Diego. Because when I was a kid, we used to have to figure out where you were. Is Carmen, San Diego here? Where are you? I do have some good news, though. So let's do some good news. Ready? Socialist organized free breakfast for kids in Atlanta. You love to see it. You love to see it. This is, I'm guessing, in homage to the Black Panthers who started that program. Chairman Fred Hampton in Chicago helped his community and spread the love with the Rainbow Coalition by giving kids food in the morning. Now, this is so important. If you don't know, here in Massachusetts, we put a wealth tax in Massachusetts. You know, they were fear-mongering about Mamdani wanting a 2% tax on millionaires, and 50 Cent got all butthurt and scared and offered him a ticket out of the city. Well, here in Massachusetts, we put a 4% tax on millionaires. 4%. I know, crazy, right? Some of you bootlickers are going to go, you shouldn't tax them. You want their money because you're lazy. No, because they don't pay into the system that they use more than us. But in Massachusetts, we put a 4% tax, and guess what? No kid has to pay for lunch or breakfast at school. And that's an important thing, because if you've ever been a kid and you've ever been hungry, you understand it's very difficult to learn. So just in America, to be a great nation, I would say we feed all of our children so they can have the greatest opportunity to obtain that knowledge, obtain that education. And we did that in Massachusetts. Also with the Millionaires Tax, you can get a free bachelor's degree at any community college. But back in the day, the Black Panthers, Chairman Fred, was leading the charge on this. And now you're seeing it again. I want to play a clip from, what is this, Fox 5 News Live. Socialist organized free breakfast for kids in Atlanta.
Itself, there's a beautiful event going on right now. They're giving out free breakfast to our children.
The people that are doing this are the Party for Socialism and Liberation, and I am with Stephen Sellers, who is with the party. Why is it important for you guys to, be out here and doing this today?
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, it shouldn't be on the responsibility of community groups like us to be having this kind of event. But what we're seeing is that as of November 1st, over 1 million Georgians are going without SNAP. That includes 600,000 children in Georgia alone. I mean, across the country, that's tens of millions of children. And so where the government isn't stepping in because they fully can, they can't fully fund SNAP. We have $14.6 billion in emergency funds here in Georgia alone that could be immediately released to have relief for these families. And what we're seeing is that Governor Kemp is refusing to release these funds. So organizations like ours are having to step in and kind of pick up the slack of the government.
Now that is incredible. Solidarity with the Socialism and Liberation Party in Georgia. If you're in their local neck of the woods, I would say reach out to them if you want to support them. Join up with them. And this is the kind of networking, the kind of organizing that we continually need to do in America. Remember, folks, we're the 99%. And yes, you in the chat. even though, you know, so, oh, what's up, J666? Trump is a throat goat. But even with everything going on, us, the 99%, we're more than them. And everybody here on YouTube is part of the 99%. I hate to break it to you. Because that 1% is so small, and they're usually busy, you know, like oppressing people. So I would encourage you to get with the programs, find the programs, and join and support. Now, to kick all of the Epstein gang stuff off, because I don't discriminate. I am not a Democrat, and I certainly ain't part of the Republican Party, the GOP, the guardians of pedos. Absolutely not part of them. It's incredible that that's like, you know, considered a thing here in America. Like, we should have chased these people out of town long ago once they put the first child in danger. And it's funny, you know, because some of them would be like, well, you're teaching kids about gay people. And it's like, what are you talking? You guys are. And you do it in the worst way possible by abducting them to islands or whatever. It's just so beyond me. But just so you know, I don't discriminate. And most of these oligarchs are not good people. Just not. And the proof is in their actions. That's all. If you just look close enough and you go, what are they doing? Oh, really interesting. You're going to see or hear, some of this Melinda French. Now she goes by Melinda French Gates. It sounds like a new style that she, you know, put in her house. I'd like the Melinda French Gates. Put it over by that door, please. Thank you. Melinda French Gates, you know her as one of the richest women in the world because she got a divorce. Okay, too much money. She was married to Billiam Esquire Gates, Windows the Third, or whatever the fuck his name is. She talks about why she divorced William.
It's not one thing, it was many things. But I did not like that he'd had meetings with Jeffrey Epstein. He was evil personified. I had nightmares about it afterwards.
Melinda French Gates opens up following her and Bill's divorce and the role Jeffrey Epstein played in their split. The power couple revealed last year that they ended their 27-year marriage.
Any of the questions remaining about what Bill's relationship there was, those are for Bill to answer.
That's called distancing yourself from the activities participated in. Good on you, old, what's your name? Melly? Do people call her Mel? Melly French? That's what she should go by. Melinda Gates. She should totally rebrand, and she's got the money to do it. You know, she should go by Melly French. Kind of smells like, or it sounds like smelly French, but Melly French. It would be like the American Spice Girls. Melly French on the mic, babe. But yeah, so not looking good for any of the Epstein gang. You know, when are these folks going to be rounded up in front of a tribunal? That's what I'm waiting for. It's coming. It's coming, folks. We're going to hold them accountable. Whether I know some of you guys, you know, don't want to, but oh, we're gonna. We're gonna. Now, let's set the stage. Here we are in the year of our Lord 2025. We have a horrible economy. Over 1 million layoffs this year. People are suffering. People are going hungry. No one can afford egg. Egg. That's all people want. Just want to afford egg. And save your fingers before you start typing. Eggs are actually cheaper where I'm making a joke, you idiot. Just shut your face, and nothing's cheaper. But just shut your face, okay? If you're going to try to defend egg. And last year, in the year of our Lord 2024, the Donald Trump regime was forming. He was only dealing with the very best people. Podcast bros like Cash App Patel, Dan Vagina, guys that were on the cutting edge of getting to the Epstein files, really going to never forget. They rebranded Never Forget to not mean about 9/11 and to mean about the Epstein files. That's how hardcore these guys were. Now they're just soulless husks of a human in positions where, you know, Daddy Donald tells them what they can't say. But they were pushing. Donald Trump was saying on Fox News, I will release the files. That was like, you know, a big campaign point. And then they got into the office, and Pam Blondie, you remember, she said, the files are on my desk. Any day now, bitches. And if you know anything about Glenn, soulless demon Beck, he was saying, I guarantee in 10 to 14 days, they're going to be releasing them files. Just you wait. How's that prediction come out, Glenn? You fucking grifter moron. God, some of these grifters, you know, I wish snake oil salesmen just were gone when the snake oil was gone. I'm assuming they really were selling snake oil at some point. Was that like a thing you could drink? I don't know. And then Pam Blondie said they don't exist. The same woman who said the files are on my desk, release soon, they don't exist. And some MAGAs still thought, yeah, this is cool. That's totally cool. I get it. You know, they can't exist, right? You know, it's an inside nod to MAGA. Some MAGA, like Timothy, I always have to wear a hat to hide my insecurity, Pool, as we discussed the other day here on the live stream, said he believed Donald Trump was an FBI informant. Oh, bless his heart, if you know what that means in Southern. Bless his heart, because, you know, to be that stupid and get this far in life, holy shit. It's got to be some kind of record. But no, he wasn't an informant. Donald Trump doesn't inform on people. What he does is he pardons people that commit crimes for him. So as much as Timothy Pool wanted him to be a rat, and people have all these theories. But while, you know, sane people just go, well, this, where there's a lot of creepy smoke, there's some fire. And things keep leaking out. But now we're getting to a mess that you really, it's like, have you ever thrown up in your hands? You know what I'm talking about? Like, you're somewhere and you're like, I don't have anything to throw up into, and this is going to be embarrassing. Blah! You know, and you're driving, and the instructor's right there, and you're like, sorry, I just really wanted to pass my driving test. I didn't mean to, you know, and you're throwing up in your hands while you're taking your driving test. And, you know, it leaks through the fingers. You get what I'm saying? Do you get the metaphor? You know, it's uncontainable. That's what I'm really trying to say. You're like throwing up in your hands. You're never going to get it all. It's going to go everywhere. And if anything, it's going to make a cool spray pattern. And that's really what this has turned into. Because some of the latest, now we know why he, you know, pleaded the fifth. Now we know why Donald Trump is going on long-ass tirades against his own people. Marjorie Taylor Greene has flipped. She has left MAGA. Now, Donald Trump calls her, where is it? He calls her far left somewhere. Anyways, here it is. She has gone far left, which, that's obscene. That's obscene. I don't even think she knows her left from her right on her hand, but there's no way. She's far left. And he's saying all that. Here's Marjorie Taylor Greene's tweet. Because she, hold on, I'll find it. Just calm yourself. Nope, that's not the tweet. Here it is. Because Marjorie Taylor Greene, even at this point, is talking about how she is, you know, not worshiping Donald. She's not going to, up here, I'm sorry, I got cut off. She's talking about how she's going to stay with the Epstein vote to release the files. And this regime, this fascist regime, here, because some of these morons go, you should look up fascism. Here you go. I don't need to read it clearly, you do. Because there are people that are going to vote to release these files. But the files we have got, okay, are not looking good. Not looking good for old Dirty Don, as Jeffrey Epstein called him. You know, I'm not creative enough to make that up. By the way, do you guys remember when, You know, because Donald Trump has also gone on a tirade on his Truth website. I don't know. Where he called it a hoax. Remember? It's a hoax. It's a hoax that they invited these right-wing grifters that prey on people's fear and hatred to cash in, you know, clicks is cash for them. Remember when they had a whole press conference and a whole photo shoot with the White House pretending to release this said like Epstein Files Part 1? So now the president, so just remember this photo. Just remember this photo. Okay, I need you to remember that photo. Because now it's a hoax. Before it was a photo shoot, and look at us, we released the files that had nothing in it, and it was just to stage a photo shoot to, you know, satiate the dummies. Because if you don't remember, the only reason I'm calling MAGA dumb, the only reason is because Trump did it first. You know, Trump established this. He's the one. So please don't get mad at me, MAGA. I need you to turn that anger towards the chicken supreme in chief, old Bubba, best friend Bubba, and best friend of Epstein, Donald Trump. Because he's the one that said,
Smart people don't like me.
smart people don't like him, so he's calling you dumb. If you're smart, you don't like him. His words. Please don't get mad at me. Get mad at him. What? You can't because you're in a cult? Interesting. Okay. So now it's a hoax. Remember? Before they were so proud to look at us, we released it to a small group of cash for clicks kids. Remember the cars for kids? 1-8 something something cars for kids. We should do a video with these shrouds of grift. Where they should all sing 1877 clicks for cash. We just all want clicks for cash. Because they clearly were doing this for the money. And now it's a hoax. Is MAGA following along at how stupid this is? Like, this is why he said smart people don't like me.
Smart people don't like me.
Because you got to be pretty dumb to go, okay, yeah, it's a hoax now. Before, we were bragging about having them. Now it's a hoax. I can't believe there's like a population in our country, a small population that's like this fucking dumb. You know, it pains me. That's what happens when you have empathy. That's why I get it. I get it. Polio Rogan, Tim Pool, they don't want empathy. It makes you think about things, man. You know? It makes you think, God damn, I wish I could, you know, help educate these people. I really wish that my tax dollars would go to educating these people. So we don't ever have to get into this mess again where we got a pedo pan ring running the country. You know? Man, it's depressing. It's depressing. But if you're wondering why Donald Trump is now calling it a hoax, if you're wondering, by the way, I always like to point this out, that MAGA, you know, they were very proud anti-establishment, drain the swamp, take our country back from poor people who have never had the country in the first place. Proud, confident morons. So proudly confident in being moronic that they elected a coastal elite Nepo baby Democrat who failed at every business he tried. Steaks, water, planes, universities, charities. Look up if Donald Trump's allowed to run a charity in his home state of New York. Even casinos. He failed casinos. And they elected that coastal elite Democrat Nepo baby rich kid, bragged about a golden toilet, friends with all the people that they claim to hate, to be their anti-establishment leader. I can't understand it, but I just like to point it out that they're just, I don't know. Maybe they watch too much Duck Dynasty. I don't know what's wrong with them. President Throat Goat. You know what, guys? Hit subscribe, hit the notification bell. I'm going to take you through some of the great photos the internet has gifted us after this. But just let me show you what I'm talking about, what the email is. link down below to this and the Newsweek article. Fact check. Epstein's brother sent email about Trump performing that on someone named Bubba. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Ask him if Putin, hold on, where's QAnon? Charlie Kelly. Oh, thank you for the $10. Good to see. It's always sunny, my good friend Charlie Kelly. It's always good to see you, and thank you so much for the super chat. This show happens because of support like that, so I'm very blessed, and it's good to see you. I haven't seen you in like a week, Charlie. I got a great Charlie Kelly meme for this whole Donald Trump thing. Maybe we'll find it after. It's from Some More News, where they did the tinfoil hat clipboard, but it's just Donald Trump pinned to Jeffrey Epstein. It's hilarious. And it's from Some More News. Because what's his name? One of these Democrat mouthpieces tried to repost it as his own. So I just wanted to put out there. Some More News on YouTube. That is their meme, whatever you want to call it, their photo. But thank you. Where is QAnon? They scattered, man. They scattered. But if you can read right here, MAGA, I'll read it for you. Ask him if Putin, milk steak. Don't do that to me, Charlie. Don't you start quoting that funny ass show. Ask him if Putin has the photos of Trump, Bubba. For those who can read, I know in America it's a lost art. Unfortunately, this is again why us leftists, we really want to invest in education. We don't want this to ever happen again. Like our country got duped by the worst people in the world. Like the absolute worst. And the funny, sad, hilarious part. I had to create that word because some things are sad, but they're also hilarious. The sad, hilarious part is like the MAGA cult base was like cheering on, like, we're going to go get those PDF files, like, we're going to protect the children. And it turns out they elected like one of the ringleaders, and like all the signs were there, but they still went into the cult and they're still denying it and defending the cult. This is such a weird, sad, hilarious study on, stupidity. Oh, God. But if you were a victim of Donald, it's never too late. It's never too late to say, he duped me. He got me. You got me. You got me. You got me good. You got me for like 10 years. You got me good. You got me good. You're charming. Whatever you need to say to him. And then just leave the cult. Please. Your family misses you. They're wondering, if you're okay and taking your meds. But yeah, it turns out MAGA wanted to go after, like Charlie Kelly was referencing, the QAnon, and go after these people. And it turns out the call was coming from inside the house the whole time. And remember, folks, we don't have the whole Epstein files. This is just, if you don't know how these came out, two Democrats knew that the government was locked up tighter than a dolphin's butthole, and they weren't going to try to go that route. So they subpoenaed the Epstein estate, got some emails, released 3 of them redacted to try and make Trump look worse, which is hilarious because so that was the Democrats. I call them Republican light or diet Republicans, Republican zero, whatever you want to call it, whatever your flavor of, light brand Republican, because we have no left party in this country. It's center right and hard right, and that's it. And the Republicans said, hold my beer, we'll release 20,000 of the emails that we've been hiding from the public. And I thought, well, this is so weird. This is a weird, thing to try to outdo them on. You're racing to the bottom. Okay, we're here for it. And now, slowly but surely, people are going through those 20,000 emails, and we're getting more information. Hopefully, we could just get the whole file dump so we can figure out, how far to the top does this go? We know the leader of the free world is implicated and compromised. This email is pretty damning. Could you imagine if it said, ask him if Putin has the photos of, just name any other president blowing Bubba. Just name any other president. Could you imagine the uproarious outrage? But somehow, you have people, we'll get into this now, I'll show you some of the photos before we get into this, the funny ass photos. But somehow you have people like this absolute shit stain on American panties, Megyn Kelly. I linked this article down below. She's disgusting. And clearly, she can be easily bought. You know what I mean? She can betray her own gender like that. I don't know how much money he made Megyn Kelly on that episode, but I hope it was worth it. Because here's the thing, kids. And I just consider anyone a kid that's younger than me, which I'm guessing half the audience is, you know, or most of the audience is around my age. But I just consider you a young head. If you weren't alive when Tupac and Kurt Cobain were alive, you're young, okay? I grew up with a pager, okay? Show me some goddamn respect. I know how to use a rotary phone, and I can write in cursive. You show your goddamn elders some respect. But here's the thing, Megyn, with a Y, if that's how you spell it, stupid. The internet remembers. So it's going to be real hard for you to play this down in 10 years. And hopefully the people will hold you accountable for, you know, the words you say for money. You dumb bitch. You absolutely dumb bitch. And she said, it's so, I'm not even going to say it. Hopefully you can read. But she said this, in defending and downplaying the crimes, there's a difference between a 15-year-old and a 5-year-old. Yesterday, if you were here on the live, this was the news story that I had pulled up. I was going to play the audio before you. I didn't get to because we were going over other stuff. Hit subscribe, hit the notification bell. Sorry, sometimes this like starts to give me a migraine because I'm like, this is unreal. Like, I worked in radio for 20 years, and at no point was I like, oh, the money's worth it. I could totally go and say some shit like that. Because I want you to think about like the real life implications of what she's defending right now. You know, if you were QAnon or if you were MAGA at some point, like this was the stuff you thought the Clintons were defending. You thought was going on, you know, in that swamp you wanted to drain. And here you have one of your biggest mouthpieces doing what you guys claim to like have as a core tenet of your philosophy or whatever the fuck it is. This bitch is gross. And don't ever let her live that down, you know? Ever. Meg, you should do some merch, you know? You should do some merch. Well, she wasn't 5, you know? Do some merch, Meg. Why stop at just making money saying it? Do some merch. You dumb bitch. Sorry, because this is like, if you have kids or you just care about humanity or the survivors, you would see this as pretty fucking like heinous to say. You know, in defense of an old pervert. And a dead one. I don't know what you get. You know, this is something, Megyn, you should ask yourself. Like, what do I have to gain out of standing on this hill and taking this battle? Really, you should. Okay, I promise you guys we'll go through some of the photos that the internets gave us. God, I love the internets. Sometimes I love the internets. That's why Bo Burnham made a song. So this is one. This one I really like, because if you know this backstory, the CEO that got caught cheating on his wife at Coldplay and then destroyed both their marriages. Yes! Fuck them. And again, guys, this is why I like these rich people. Tax them at 100%. The only thing we have is to benefit. Our societies will get better. Our kids won't go hungry. Our roads won't have potholes. Fucking tax these people. Or they're all going to be at Coldplay, you know, doing reach-arounds on each other. Here, this is a good one. President Reagan, are you still here? Because I thought you would like this one. I don't know. Call me crazy. Somebody said fake. Yes, these photos are memes and GIFs and make-believies. You know the thing that Donald Trump does when he does a fake video of himself in a fighter jet with a king crown pooping on America and Americans? They're like that. They're joke memes. Isn't MAGA well-versed? Didn't they say F your feelings? Which, can you not take a joke? That's what we're doing right now, you sensitive, I need a safe space snowflakes. Here, this one I really love. This is one of my favorites. It's not even a photo. And to think the real ballroom was his mouth all along. They're referencing the Jeffrey Epstein Memorial Ballroom that Donald Trump is building right now. You know how he destroyed the East Wing? He just demolitioned it. You know, for all you were like, my heritage, my country, patriotism, the president fucking tore down the East Wing without like asking anybody, getting permits, public opinion, you know, just the typical things and process you go through. He just tore it fucking down so he could erect the Jeffrey Epstein Memorial Ballroom. Get a kick out of that, huh? All you MAGAs. I didn't know you guys were ballroom guys. But this is wicked funny. This is so funny. And again, after I showed you that, I will do a call for hitting subscribe and hitting the notification bell. Because if you can't tell, 45 minutes into the show, this isn't very advertiser friendly. I'm like PBS, you know, supported by viewers like you. Charlie Kelly, thank you. J666 always throws some bones at the show. So if you can support the show, this is not advertiser friendly, but I'm proud to do a show that I want to do. That isn't, you know, we're not beating around the bush. You know, we're not blowing bubba here. We're delivering you the uncut, raw, tapered or aged in oak wood barrels for 44 years news. So, you know, if you don't have money because you're saving up for egg for Christmas, I get it. But you know what you could do that is free? You could hit subscribe, hit the notification bell, and you join me whenever I go live. Usually weekdays. I know it's a weekend. Fucking lay off. I'm working on the weekend. Okay, you got me. MAGA, are you happy? Just kidding, this isn't work. This is a passion project. I just want to take down this regime for fun, you know? You know, it's like a hobby. What do you want to do? Spark a revolution. Here's another funny one. Corporate needs you to identify the differences between this picture and this picture. They're the same picture. If you get it, you get it. Oh, here's the email. Here's the email again. Ask him if Putin has the photos of Trump blowing Bubba. This one's funny. Donica Lewinsky. Donica. You know what the funny part is about like Tim Pool being allowed into the White House in the press area? Is like he's such a fucking nerd. Like, how does he not, you know, address the president as Donica Lewinsky and just get kicked out? Bro, you'd be in the history books. If you were in the White House and be like, has Donica Lewinsky made a comment yet? That would be so funny. You'd get 1 million views. And he's such a herb that he's like, I just like to lick the boot and then polish it. Here we go. When Trump calls you his big, beautiful bill. It was a secret call. No, it wasn't. We're going to get to that. This one is just for all the conservatives. You know, people are like, oh, and conservative family values. Oh, really? Is the new, in the year of our Lord 2025, the new conservative family values that you know, do this with porn stars and then pay them hush money so your family doesn't find out? Your third family, I think it is, because he cheated on all his wives. Anyways, I can't figure out what a conservative family value is anymore. Here we go. Forrest Trump. I got to find Bubba. This one's a funny one. By the way, we're talking about MTG, old horse legs herself. Donald Trump called her out. Wait a minute. That's not it. Donald Trump called her out on Twitter, on Twiter, on Truth Social, whatever it is. Yeah, this. So he called her out, and then look at what she tweeted. That she's been contacted by private security firms with warnings for her safety. Isn't that crazy? Remember how like upset and they threw that like monster truck rally for Charlie Clan because they were so clutching pearls? It's so crazy how like Donald Trump will call this lady out and then she's like, yeah, this is what's going on. And it's just wild that, like, you know, she understood, and she probably, you know, helped irrigate some of this behavior that was happening, because Donald Trump hasn't just called her out. He's called many people out by name. So I don't know. You can call me old school, call me old fashioned. I'm from a day and age where the president didn't use his own social media site to personally attack, you know, people. But I'm old school. Oh, hold on. Where is, what the heck just happened? 5 for the cause, brother. Alex, I appreciate you, man. I didn't even see that. When did that come through? Thank you, Alex L. 5 for the cause. I appreciate that. Much love, much respect. I hope you've hit subscribe and the notification bell. The cause is an important one. We have pedo pans running the country. Oh, and if they're not, just release the files, you know. Sorry, my, oh, Alistair. Thank you for the $7.99 super chat. I appreciate you. It means a lot. And I hope you've hit subscribe and the notification bell too. Alistair says, ooh, is that Fantastic Mr. Fox? Or is that just a fox avatar? I love foxes. I used to live across the street from a graveyard, and there was this fox that lived there. But he was really hungry and always looked like too skinny, so I never approached him, but he was a cool-ass fox. Alistair says, why isn't Mass used as a blue state example? Why always Cal versus Texas, even though Texas takes more money than it sends out? Alistair, I'll tell you why. And this is something, if you've hit subscribe and the notification bell and you've been here for a little bit, you'll understand, or you've heard me say this before. Because the mainstream media ain't your friend. Because they want to use subpar or not great examples where they can, you know, they can throw up straw man arguments in any case. And I say that specifically because Mamdani was just elected, Democratic Socialist, huge win for the movement. We're taking this country back. And this time, like, the leftists actually mean it. Like, we're going to take it back from the oligarchs, the powerful elites that are running this country, that have always run the country. Like, we're going to take it back. MAGA thought they were going to take it back from, like, poor people. You know, and I'm like, what fucking poor people are even in Congress? They're all worth millions. So they're silly little not serious people. But Alistair, the media ain't your friend. Who's the media owned by? Well, 6 companies own 92%, I believe, of what you hear, see, or read. And they don't want you to know this shit. That's why it's important that I tell you about it. Because I watched almost, you know, an entire election cycle happen about Mamdani. And nobody, I mean, 50 Cent, his butthole puckered up so quick when Mamdani was like, we're going to put a 2% tax on millionaires. That 50 Cent, you know, many men, 50 Cent was like, I'll buy you a first-class ticket and pay you a year's salary just to leave the city. Like, 50, are you living on credit? Like, how do you have that much money and you're scared to be taxed 2%? Are you living outside of your means, 50? Isn't that what they always say to poor people? Oh, maybe you're just buying too many avocados. Are you just buying too many yachts? Do you have too many skyscrapers? What are you doing? Too much Moet? What are you spending all your money on? Irresponsible, 50. But all these people were fear-mongering about Mamdani wanting to tax the wealthy in New York, saying they're gonna leave, they're gonna leave. All right. Yep, those capitalists are going to leave the capitalist center of the world. Yeah, that totally makes sense. And the thing is in 2022 in Massachusetts, we had already done this, but we weren't pussies about it. You know, we didn't do it by 2%. We taxed them by 4%. You can read about it, link down below. I keep it linked there just because people don't know about this, and they should. And the fear-mongering, the propaganda is the same. It's regurgitated. It's the same thing. It's been the same thing for decades. You know, you tax them to leave. Where are they going to go? Cuba? What are you fucking talking about? They're going to leave. So, Alistair, the media is not your friend. And the media specifically did not bring up that Massachusetts, the whole state, not just the city, the whole state already did what Mamdani did, but they doubled it. And not only did it work, but it was a huge success. We've taken in more tax money than expected. And guess what? Are you bootlickers ready for this? The people who bootlick for the billionaires, you're going to get a kick out of this. No millionaires left. I was pleading with them. I was saying, get the fuck out of here. You can't afford to live anymore. You're living outside your means. Get the fuck out of Cape Cod. Please leave the North Shore, leave the South Shore, leave Boston, leave the Berkshires, leave us be, get the fuck out of Massachusetts. And none of them left. Imagine that. We called their bluff and they didn't leave. You know what did happen? Our millionaire population grew by 38%. Link in the description. So we brought in more money. Millionaires didn't leave. What else happened? Oh shit, that's right. Our communities got better. If you don't know, if you're outside of the state of Massachusetts and you have to send kids to school, you usually put $1, $1.25, $1.50. I don't know what it is now. You know why I don't know? Because our kids don't have to deal with it. No kid in Massachusetts has to pay for breakfast or lunch. It's paid for by the Millionaires Tax. Isn't that great? So kids don't have to go to school and learn hungry, which is very hard to do if you've ever been a kid or ever been hungry. But not only that, we're fixing roads, we're investing in communities, and a great thing that I know people personally utilizing is with this Millionaires Tax of 4%. Mamdani wanted to do 2. I'm not an economist, but 4 is bigger than 2. And we did it with the whole state. You can go to any community college and get a free bachelor's degree, all thanks to the wealth tax in Massachusetts. Now, you'd figure that would be huge nationwide news. Socialism works. Taxing the wealth works. Imagine fucking that. Did you hear about it during the whole Mamdani fear-mongering? Everyone's going to leave. What are you going to do? The city has fallen. No. Of course you didn't. Because the media is not your friend. It's owned by a handful of billionaires that don't want you to know this shit. That's why I do what I do. This is why I come on here and I make sure you know about it and I share links with you and say, go look up the Fair Share Amendment. Go look these things up. It's very important for you to understand so you stop fear-mongering or whoever is, because people do it in the chat. You know, people will literally be like, oh, the millionaires will leave. And I go, no, they won't. Really? I wish fucking Elon Musk would just go back to South Africa. They're not going to leave, guys. I hate to break it to you. And isn't that like a good thing? What are they doing in your life that, like, do you have a picture of Jeff Bezos up on your wall and you're like, oh, teen beat pop icon, I love you so much, don't leave America? So, Alistair, I hope I answered your question. Sorry, I'm missing all the chat. But, yeah, see? People even say, they will literally leave. They're not going to leave America. Trust me, I wish. I wish they would. And Massachusetts is the prime example. And the more you know, it's very important. Knowledge is power. Americans pay the chat is going. Okay, anyways, we're gonna get back to this. But thank you, Alistair, for the super chat. I figure it's a powerful thing to remind people.
Smart people don't like me.
Donald Trump says smart people don't like him. So with that being said, I think it's important that we just take a moment. We just take one moment, guys, to understand something, okay? This is a very important thing. There are 2 types of Trump supporters, billionaires and idiots. I need you to go and check your bank account right now and figure out which one you are for the Trump supporters that are still here. OMG IDC. Oh my God, I don't care. I live in Mass. Rob's not lying. Ignorant freaks. Yeah, dude, don't worry. The people who are going to be ignorant freaks, the ignorant freak's going to ignorant freak. You know what they say. So it's okay. It's okay. Remember, you're dealing with, like, idiots. You know? Rami, $5 super chat. Thank you. The millionaire tax in Massachusetts was a constitutional amendment. Mamdani is a mayor. He can't impose extra tax on income. That's up to the state. Ours was a ballot measure put on the ballot by the people. So Mamdami's gonna Mamdami. Stay out of his way for all of you that trying to get in his way. Thank you for the $5. All right. We gotta get to, hold on. I gotta find the other part of the story. Because I don't want you thinking Bubba is who the internet thinks Bubba is. because I did some more research. Oh, by the way, we did a story on Slender Man. Sorry, Rick Scott. God damn it. He always tricks me. He always tricks me. Right? Is that Rick Scott or Slender Man? Have you ever seen Rick Scott and Slender Man in the same place at the same time? No, you haven't. Just saying. Just saying. But he recently testified before Congress and had everybody raise their hand. Anybody want to be poor? He was testifying or talking, whatever, to continually allow members of Congress to be able to trade stocks, defending it. And I just want you to understand, Rick Scott just disclosed trades more than a year late. They were worth $26 million. You did not read that wrong. And he traded millions on companies he legislated. No shit, they're corrupt. Like, that's why he's going and saying, I don't want to be poor. Why should we ban, Congress from trading stocks? Because he's regulating the companies he's trading on to make a fortune. That should be illegal in any fucking rational timeline, but apparently ours, God damn it. People, rise up and put these things on the ballot, where is, look at this. Do you see this? Courier has created a searchable database with 20,000 of the files just released on the Epstein estate. Trump's name appears in them more than anyone else in 1,628 documents. That's fucking bananas. That's so bananas. What does it say? What does it say? Oh, here's a fun one. That's your president with drag queen, Rudy Giuliani. I would like to think his name was Ruby Giuliani, but we don't know. Hold on. Oh yeah, this was the argument between Rep. Taylor Greene. So President Trump just attacked me and lied about me. I haven't called him all day, but I did send these. Apparently this is what upset him over the edge because she's back in the Epstein files. I'm trying to find this Newsweek thing. I swear I had it. I don't know where it got lost. Where did the Newsweek thing get lost? Did I really not take a picture of it? Oh my God. I'm so sorry. I linked it down below. Either that or it's just in the mess of stuff that I have. No. So I must have forgot to take a picture of it. Here's Donald Trump's freak out. But let me just read this to you, because I do have it pulled up. And the Newsweek article I linked in the description is where I'm reading this from, just so you know, because I thought this was important for everybody to understand. Where's the Newsweek? Here we go. Donald Trump's blowing bubba message in Epstein emails under scrutiny. Scrutiny on social media. I'm just going to jump down to the part. Why it matters. Files released are causing problem for the Trump regime. Further publication of documents and evidence in the government's possession. Trump has consistently denied any wrongdoing. He also denied he doodled. Remember that? And then the poem came out.
Enigmas never age. Have you noticed that? And Jeffrey, as a matter of fact, it was clear to me the last time I saw you.
So what to know? An email sent in March 2018, Mark Epstein told Jeffrey to ask Steve Bannon, Trump's former strategist, if Russian President Vladimir Putin has, quote, the photos of Trump blowing bubba. You and your boy Donny can make a remake of the movie Get Hard, Mark Epstein wrote. Newsweek also reached out to Bannon and the Kremlin by email to comment on this story outside of normal business hours. Posts on social media about the email have since gone viral, with people questioning what the email means. One user wrote, "Who is Bubba, and why did Trump blow him?" I love that Newsweek quoted that. Oh, hold on. Rami, that's the thing. The people of NYC can't vote for it either. It has to be a statewide legislative change or a statewide constitutional amendment. It can't be a vote for a millionaire's tax just in NYC. Yes, Rami. So that's what I'm saying. That's what we did in Massachusetts. The voters can put it on the ballot. And Mamdani can lead that charge. I always mess up his name. But just hold on. So I love that Newsweek, if you read the story, they're forced to quote some of these things in the story, which is hysterical when you think about it in historical context. Take yourself out of the here and now. Just like how we read about fourscore, fourscore and, whatever years ago. And you read about, what was the JFK? Ask not what you could do for your country. Ask what your country can do for you. Socialism. But, you think all these like presidential quotes, and then in 20, 30 years from now, kids in history class are going to have to read about the Newsweek article where they're quoting one user who asked who Bubba was and why did Trump blow him. Like, I might have to become a history teacher just so I could be like, I was there. I remember when we found out about that. So Call to Activism, an account with over 1.1 million followers, wrote, WTF. In one of the leaked emails, Mark Epstein, brother suggests, but they just repeat it. Trump is also referenced in other documents. Hold on. Because they get to... This is important. Democrats on the House Oversight later released additional emails to show that Epstein's correspondent with former Trump advisor Steve Bannon and former Treasury Secretary Larry Summers. There's also an email on there about Alan Dershowitz, who, the Dersh scumbag, was claiming that the girl that accused him, it was mistaken identity. There's an email on him saying, have her say it's mistaken identity. Like, there's so much damning evidence. I can't believe that the Republicans, like, kick themselves in the dick. It's hilarious, but what happens next? Wait, where is it? Where is the Bill Clinton thing? Hold on. Ask Bannon what to know. Okay, here we go. Here it is. Sorry. I had skipped over it. So here it is. Some of the documents mention Trump, including one from Epstein's brother Mark. Bubba is a nickname of former President Bill Clinton, but Mark Epstein, the guy who wrote this email, told Newsweek the individual was not Clinton. He did not provide any additional details about the identity of Bubba or the meaning of the emails. Newsweek reached out to the White House by email to comment on the story outside of normal business hours. I'm guessing the White House might not get back to them. But I thought I had taken a photo of it. I'm very, very sorry. Very sorry for that. But why would you burp like that on live stream? Don't do that again. Say excuse me. But I wanted to point that out because as much as there's new funny photos going around and all this stuff, and of course the internet is lit up with, the memes, the funnies, the stuff that's out there. You know what I mean? But I just want to point out that Newsweek said that because that was my first thought. When I was reading this Newsweek article, I was like, well, Mark Epstein's still alive. Why don't they just ask him? And apparently he did. Mark Epstein clarified. I don't know how much you can trust Jeffrey Epstein's brother, but, maybe he's just saving Clinton's ass. So who knows? But at least Newsweek is quoting Mark Epstein saying, Bubba is not Bill Clinton. I'm not saying anymore. But again, it's just like the survivors. Did you see the email that the letter that the survivors sent to Congress? And they all signed their name to it. This was brave, man, because the next page of this, they all signed their name. And, you got to think who they're going up against. Even Mark Epstein, who maybe denied it. Bubba was Bill Clinton, even though Bubba was notoriously Bill Clinton's nickname. Just like Andrew Mountbatten was Randy Andy, and Jeffrey Epstein called Donald Dirty Donald. Or at least that's in the emails. But maybe, I don't know. And more will come out. Here's the thing. There's more emails. There's more of the Epstein files. There's more. Just release the files. Jeffrey Epstein's best friend Trump. Just release them, Dirty Donald. Come on, Bubba. We want to know who Bubba is. And why were you doing that to him? What dirt does Vladimir Putin have on Dirty Donald? So many questions. So many unanswered things yet. I always teach my kids, and you should teach your kids too. When they say something they haven't done, add yet to the end. I haven't learned how to play the piano yet. Okay? Little positive life advice for you. But you got to think, these people are brave to sign their name, because the people that they're accusing and the people that are indicted in all of their damning email, written evidence, paper trail that they left themselves, have all the money and all the power. That's why I thought it was funny when MAGA was like, we're going to take our country back. I was like, oh, so you take it back from like the Donald Trumps? They were like, no, from the poor people. I was like, what? Who do you think runs everything? You think the poor people are making the laws to tax themselves more and give the rich tax breaks? Is that how you think this is working? Interesting. I'd hate to be in your mind for a minute. What was the other thing? Oh, this was another interesting point. Midas Touch said a whole lot of OJ looking for the real killer in real life energy. But then Sarah McGee for Texas said, there it is. They spent 24 hours coming up with the diversion strategy. They're going to say that, on Tuesday when the vote comes up, keep an eye out for them to say it's an open investigation. We can't release it. And that would just be more damning evidence that, whatever is in it, he is so terrified of. That maybe it's Maybelline, maybe it's the president, is so horrified of what is in these Epstein files that he is, throwing everything he can at the wall to keep them from coming out. But as we've seen, as time goes on, things keep coming out, things keep leaking. I don't even know if by now they've managed to probably go through all 20,000 emails, but there's some damning stuff in there. Let me see if I can find the Dershowitz one, because these people are just the absolute scum of the earth. I mean, they are rotten. Rotten fucking. Here it is. This is the Dersh. Look, from Alan Dershowitz. Now, if you don't know the story, Alan Dershowitz, I believe, was Epstein's lawyer or something, but also himself was accused. And the whole thing with Dersh was the accuser said, oh, it was mistaken identity. Sorry, accused the wrong guy, because, so many Alan Dershowitz looking guys out there. Jesus Christ, lady, where are you hanging out? But then this email came out. We should be aiming at a short, simple statement, such as the events, quote, the events at issue occurred approximately 15 years ago when I was a teenager, although I believed then and continue to believe that Alan Dershowitz was the person with whom I had sex. Recent developments raise the possibility that it may be a case of mistaken identity. Alternative. And remember, this is Alan Dershowitz writing it to whoever that David Bowie's probably, the lady's lawyer or something. And then Alan Dershowitz suggests alternatives. That may have been somebody else. That someone mistakenly told me it was him. We should be able to come up with something mutually acceptable statement. It should be acceptable if the statement came from you rather than her, if she prefers it. Sent from my iPhone. Oh. Probably a small fortune was paid for that statement. I'd say probably. And again, this is why, they're irresponsible with their money. Point, set, match. Impeach Trump now, 100%. Poorest Gump. And then don't forget, when you think you're watching this alternative media, this absolute shit stain on America's panties was defending these freaks. She literally said, let me see if I can play the clip for you. Here we go. Hold on.
As for Epstein, I've said this before, but just as a reminder, I do know somebody very, very close to this case who is in a position to know virtually everything. Not everything, but virtually everything.
This is Megyn
and
Kelly.
This person has told me from the start, years and years ago, that Jeffrey Epstein, in this person's view, was not a pedophile. This is this person's view, who was there for a lot of this, but that he was into the barely legal type. Like he liked 15-year-old girls. And I realize this is disgusting. I'm definitely not trying to make an excuse for this. I'm just giving you facts. That he wasn't into 8-year-olds.
Now that is what you call an excuse. That's when your words don't line up with what you're doing. You understand? Oh, she says, oh, this is disgusting. If it's disgusting and it's not an excuse, why say it? Why? Would it be because you're using it to excuse him? You're saying, well, 15, it's not like 8. She's rancid. Rancid. She's like the human equivalent of somebody on the bus, you know, all of a sudden feeling like they're going to get violently food sick ill and starting to vomit through their hands, and it sprays everywhere while it comes out their back end. Like, that's what she's doing for everybody's infotainment online. And it's just amazing to me that some people will watch her and be like, see, she said it's not to excuse it. The fuck are you talking about? This is exactly why she did it. You tell me you're stupid enough to believe that she said, well, this is disgusting. If it's so disgusting, don't excuse it. Just say there's no excuse. Doesn't matter 15 or 8. It's a child, man. What these fucking right-wing hardos will do for money, there is no low. There is no low. And you're witnessing, you know, when you thought there was a low before, oh, somebody like Megyn Kelly comes out of right field and just scrapes the bottom of the barrel even harder and says, look, new divot, new low. I'm really mad because there was a 14-year-old girl who talked about, she had posted this video and went on Reddit. And she talked about my mom made a rebuttal to Megyn Kelly's absolutely disgusting, self-admitted disgusting take on this whole thing. And she said, my mom talked to me and said I could retort. And she said, I'm 14 and there are kids in my class turning 15. And she went on, and I had it because I wanted to play. It got taken off of Reddit by a mod or something. But I thought it was important because, you know, she was well-spoken. And she was like, listen, we're still wearing braces. We're still baby faces. We still call her. She said, we still call our parents when we're scared. And for those who have kids, like, there's no doing this. I don't know if Megyn Kelly has kids and how she can go home at night and tuck them in and be like, don't worry, I'm making the world better by excusing the most heinous people that would absolutely destroy your innocence and your childhood in a heartbeat, and sell you around like a piece of property. You know, like, I don't understand how she does that, you know? Like, clearly someday Satan will call her home, I guess. You know, someday Satan will be like, you've done the good work, Megyn. Oh, what are those things called in like the Arabic jinns? Are they called just jinns? You know what I mean? Like the spirits? Hey, Sam Adams, don't call her a witch. Witches are awesome. What are they jinns? You know, the demons I watch these YouTubers that are like ghost hunters in the Middle East, and I think they're jinns. But now, look, it kind of makes sense, right? She's a jinn. Yeah, jinn, but it's J-I-N, right? See, she's trying to be sneaky. We see you. Look, she's not a demon. She's a jinn. Megyn Kelly. Now it makes sense, Megyn. Now it makes sense. Satan will call you home someday. You'll have to answer to him. He'll probably give you a nice little pat on the head. A jinn. Yeah, see? Yep. We're figuring it out, folks. That's what we do here. Hit subscribe, hit the notification bell. And now when people ask you if they heard you, somebody at work around the water cooler will go, you hear that Megyn Kelly story? You hear about that? You say, oh, you mean Megyn Kelly? We know all about it. And then they might back up slowly from you, but that's okay. You got your point across. They are jinns. That's where we get the word genie from. Oh, cool. I didn't know that. Thank you for the information, if that is true. I appreciate you. Probably look it up later, and then I'll probably fall down some, like, deep rabbit hole of how, you know, the iceberg on Robin Kelly's genie experience with Disney. Oh, Jesus Christ. Shut up. Listen, if you're going to come in here with transphobia, homophobia, misogyny, racism, anything, I'm just going to boot you. Just get the fuck out. Just get out. Well, and that's the thing. Even if Trump is the first gay president, like, us leftists want the land of the free. When we say America, the land of the free, we want you to be free to be who you are. I think that's a deeply sad irony that here in America, you have these patriots saying we're the land of the free. But we got to regulate that woman's body, and you shouldn't be allowed to marry them, and you shouldn't be able to be that person. And you know, like, what is free then? What kind of freedom are you enjoying? And then they go, well, conservative values. And I go, well, like what? Donald Trump, where his 3 wives cheated on all of them and a bunch of random kids? Or like Elon Musk, where he just impregnates random Twitter users and then abandons them and their children? What kind of conservative values are we talking about? I just can't keep up with it, you know? I thought you said the leftists were woke, but it turns out if you look into the marriages and the love triangles and fucking octagons of some of these conservative value freako men, you'd get very confused too. So, gave him the old Donica Lewinsky. Holy shit. I don't know what you're referencing, but that's funny. I will use that from now on. Oh, he gave him the old Donica Lewinsky, eh? That's probably his real hair color too, you know, because he clearly bleaches it. He clearly, you know, puts on apricot rouge. I always call him, maybe it's Maybelline, maybe it's dementia, or I mean, sorry, maybe it's the president. But it's so funny. I've never seen a more Jersey Shore looking fucking loser in my life. And listen, no offense, I love the Jersey Shore. I'm talking about like that stereotype, you know, that GTL. It looks like he just does the T. And not even like the real tan. Like he just does the fake, like maybe it's Maybelline. How much orange can I put on? Trump. I love the comment. Oh man. But again, we went over, Newsweek cleared it up. Mark Epstein from the emails where he said, does Putin still have the photos of Trump blowing Bubba? Mark Epstein claims, this is Mark Epstein, I don't know if Jeffrey's brother is reliable, but Newsweek says, I read it to you, link down below, but Newsweek says that Mark Epstein says Bubba is not Clinton. I don't know if that's reliable. I don't know if Mark is a trustworthy source. Just listen, just my opinion. That Epstein family can fuck off. You know, I wouldn't take their word for much of anything. But I don't. You never know. You know, is Mark scared of the Clintons? We know what happens if you cross them, don't we? So I don't know. Who's to know? But that's what is being reported. I love the people that are still MAGA. You excited for the Epstein Memorial Ballroom, big guy? And to think, the real ballroom was Donald Trump's mouth all along. I can't believe it. Holy crap. Holy crap. Bubba is Stephen Miller. Oh, SW Chan. Hey, please hit subscribe. Please hit the notification bell. We got to figure out who it is, okay? That's like next on the list. We have to figure it out. And the internet will do its thing. You know, it will internet. And we'll probably dig through more emails for search word Bubba, cross-reference, cross. But how old was Stephen Miller in, what was that? Oh, I think these emails were from what, 2017 or something? 2018. So, is it Stephen Miller? By the way, if you are new here and you haven't heard my take on Stephen Miller, if you don't know Stephen Miller, he's a Nazi from Santa Monica, a SoCal Nazi. And he's absolutely garbage, piece of garbage. Just like his takes on stuff, the reason we have ICE roaming the streets and kidnapping Americans. But the funniest part is, if they ever make a movie on this, like someday we do like Inglourious Bastards, but for the year 2025, I haven't really seen Inglourious Bastards. If we do the movie Fury, I don't know, you know, if we do one of those movies, I have the perfect person to play Stephen Miller. I'm going to play a clip of Stephen Miller and tell me if this does not sound like Pauly Shore. And Pauly Shore's a dick, unless you're a hot chick that's like giving him vibes. He's not that nice. But tell me, Stephen Miller is an uptalker. That means he ends every sentence with the inflection going up. It's like a beach bimbo, you know? Like, hey, man. So I can't even do it. I have to hear him first. But here's a clip of Stephen Miller. Tell me if this doesn't sound like Pauly Shore.
But Democrat leaders,
I've listened to whole interviews with him on this live stream and just made fun of the whole thing. Because it's so crazy that he's like a hateful little monster, but he sounds like this.
in the Ninth Circuit,
Democrat leaders. Isn't that hilarious? This freaking white supremacist sounds like a beach bimbo. It's so fun. I mean, you couldn't even write this kind of comedy. Oh my God. That's again why here on the show we had to create the word sad-larious. Because it's so sad what he's doing. But it's hilarious. He sounds like a beach bimbo. You know? I could not be in a room with him, hearing him talk. I would just start copying him. Democrat leaders? Bro, are you wheezing the juice? What are other Pauly Shore lines? You know, I would have to listen to Pauly Shore lines and just mock him. Holy crap. Sounds like a surfer dude. California Valley Girls. Yep, 100%. Pauly Shore is not that young anymore. That is very true. Valley Girl twang with Himmler ethics. MK Prod. Holy shit. I said nothing about surfers. I love surfers. I absolutely adore one of my former not mates was a pro surfer. So I love surfing and surfers. What I'm saying is he sounds, I didn't even say surfer. He sounds like a beach bimbo. He sounds like one of the girls that is like in love with the, surfer. Oh, I'm glad you asked. What are my values? Let me pull it up for you. That's a good thing to address. It's a very good thing to address. Very, very important that you understand. Whoops. Hold on. Give me a second. I do believe we should start the Bull Moose Club again. Look that up. Teddy Roosevelt started it. It didn't survive here in America, but I like the core tenets of the Bull Moose Party. So if you want to start the Bull Moose Party again with me, please hit subscribe. Please hit the notification bell. And here are my values. But wait, things need to be added to this. So things not on this, 3-day work week. If you look back 100 years, the robber barons and the uber wealthy thought by 2022 or 2020, we'd be working 15-hour weeks because of AI and the technology. Not AI, but the technology. We're not, because people are allowing these oligarchs to dictate, what we do. And of course, they're going to want us to work more so they can exploit us and extract our wealth. We create the wealth. The laborers do. So 3-day work week, I say after 55, you cannot run for any political position. We retire at 45, every American. You retire at 45 so you can enjoy your life. 55 and older, you can't run for politics. I think we have some more things, but then it goes on to overturn Citizens United, codify women's right to choose. You can't be the land of the free and then, try to regulate women's bodies. Term limits for SCOTUS, rid of the Electoral College, outlaw gerrymandering, fairness doctrine in media, universal health care, break up the monopolies. Clearly, that's an easy one. I think it's six companies control 90% of what you see, hear, and read. So if you're wondering why the Massachusetts wealth thing didn't come up to Donny, that's it. They don't want you to know this stuff. Ban stock trading while in Congress, cap congressional salary to 1.5 times the median income of their district. That is important. That was my other thing. We can't have these people who have a high net wealth and then get into Congress and they have millionaire net wealth. If you have 1.5 times the net wealth of the constituent you're running for, not allowed to run. You're just not. You can't relate to the people you're representing. Remember, politics, when you get someone's vote, you're going into public service. You're in service of the public. Our taxes are paying you. Remember, we are the boss of the president. People forget that. They think like he's a king. You see it in the chat. It's like, no, he works for us. We pay him and we're his boss. That's how shit works here. Tax billionaires out of existence. So once you earn 999 million and all the nines after, you're taxed at 100% rate into $1 billion. And with that, one guy on YouTube, hit subscribe and notification bell, I alone found $500 billion for the American government, just taxing Elon Musk. The Republicans added $2 trillion. I found $500 billion back. So we're going to tax billionaires so there's no more because they're clearly irresponsible with their money. And if anyone wants to defend it, I'll just say this. If you can't live in luxury with $999 million, maybe you're living outside of your means, okay? I've heard that all the time from these pundits on TV. Maybe you shouldn't buy an iPhone every year. I'm going to use that against these billionaires. If you can't live on $999 million, you're living outside of your means. Maybe stop buying a new house every year, new yacht every year, you know? Maybe one yacht, maybe one home, you know? Tax unrealized gains used as loan collateral. That's another important one that goes with the billionaires. We're going to tax mega churches and we're going to raise the federal minimum wage to, this number is not mine, we're going to raise it to $66 an hour. Some of you are going to freak the fuck out, even though you work for a wage. And I don't understand why. You should know your worth. That's something my mother taught me. Know your value, just as a human. Hold on. Jacob, thank you for the $10 super chat. Hold on one second. So if you look into it, we've played clips here. We've, you know, it's a long, sturdy process of making people understand that consumers, you and I, are 70% of the economy. More money we have, the better the economy does. So we'll just leave it at that. $66 an hour. And if that shocked you with the 3-day work week, get fucked. Jacob Hawley, how would you feel about members of the CPUSA running as DSA Democrats? Is that the Communist Party? I don't think that's legal here. Us Marxists won the majority of the leadership in 2023. We've been working to spread our ideas in the Democratic Party. Well, here's the thing. And again, I'm not exactly sure what CPUSA stands for. But that is, not unfortunately, that is how it has to happen for right now. We have to infiltrate the Democratic Party, get this rubbish Republican light, Republican zero, diet Republicans out of here. We need these geriatric fucking net wealth of, you know, a techno bro out. And if we need to infiltrate the party like that, 100%, I totally support that. You know, by any means necessary to get this shit done. There's one thing that I've taken from MAGA, and it's this. Donald Trump has had federal courts, federal judges tell him, like, you have to pay SNAP. You have to use that money set aside, taxpayer money set aside to feed Americans. You have to do it. And he went, nah. He fucking tweeted, no. And I thought, brilliant. Not starving Americans. I thought that's a shitbag move done by somebody who's never gone hungry in his life. He was born rich with a silver spoon up his butt, or however the saying goes. No, what I took from that is we're going to implement this shit, and I don't care how big the 17% of maggots, M-A-G-A-T-S, screams and yells socialism. We don't give a fuck. What I say here on the channel is we're going to make ambulance rides free for you, whether you like it or not. When you, your uncle, your dad, your mother, your sister, your brother, your kids have a heart attack, you're never going to consider calling Uber because of the cost over an ambulance. And Americans do that. Just go to GoFundMe. It's not like, hey, I want to go to Disney. It's like, hey, fucking kid has cancer. So these people are like, oh, we're going to make America great. We're going to chase the poor people around. And it's like, how is that fucking great? Are you fucking stupid or just mean? We're going to make America great, but we're going to stop listening to the people who have had the country. This is when I say we're going to take it back. You guys, Democrats, Republican light, Republicans, you guys have had it forever. Trickle down's never working. Cutting taxes for the rich ain't working. Deregulation ain't working. We're going to do it our way by any means fucking necessary. So if you got to do that, amazing. Love it. I support it. Let us know. Spread the word. That's what I do here. That's why it's important that this community branches out. We have a Discord. Please join it. And we're going to do it like... And this is the funny thing, MAGA, if that, you know, upset you or made you mad, by the way, Jacob, thank you for the $10 super chat. That is huge. I really appreciate it. Legalize marijuana. Are you kidding? I don't even call it marijuana because it's a fucking racist term. Legalize cannabis, 100%. Massachusetts already done that. Donald Trump is walking the federal THC ban back. Of course, it's a medicine. Look up Charlotte's Web and the little girl Charlotte and the brothers that created a CBD strain for her to stop her from having seizures. If you can read that story and then think she's a criminal, then go fuck yourself. Of course it should be legal. It's a medicine. So just to address that. But, Jacob, in concerns to MAGA and how they love it when Donald Trump doesn't obey the law or judges, and they want him to be king and not have to answer to anyone. They love that shit. And they love it when he's like doing it to starve Americans. But if we say we're going to make sure that billionaires' taxes make sure you don't lose your house if you get sick, they have some fucking issue, we're not listening to them. Like, shut the fuck up, go in the corner, be obedient for your master. Just shut up. And that's what I've taken from it. We're just gonna push this shit through. We're going to make sure people, women have the right to choose. We're going to push through cannabis legalization. We're not fucking going to hear from Mitt Romney or some old turd Schumer. His kid's a fucking lobbyist for Amazon. Like, we're done listening to these fucking frauds. We're just doing this shit because America can be a great country. And you know what we're going to do? We're going to look to all the other countries. We already have socialized medicine here in America. It's the VA. We just implement it on a bigger scale. And then we go, well, what's wrong with the VA system? Okay, let's fix that for Americans. So we could do all this shit, but they just like to fearmonger and naysay and the billionaires. So that's why it's important that we build this community. Join the Discord, hit subscribe, hit the notification bell. And we're just not going to listen. See, and you'll see the people in the chat. They're scared little children. That's what they are. They're scared. They hear, you're going to give me a free ambulance ride? Oh my God. It's crazy. Heck yeah. Amanda, thank you for the $1.99 super chat. Appreciate you. Appreciate the support. It means the world. Because like I said, this stuff isn't popular with sponsors. I'm not a Mr. Beast over here promising you a cookie while I'm selling you my chocolate bar that's probably fucking got lead in it or whatever his food had in, This isn't friendly to advertisers. So I rely on you guys. So it means the world to me, Amanda, Jacob, Rami. I'm trying to think who else. If I forgot your name, I'm sorry. I'm tired. But, and when they go, oh, what are you trying to be, a king? It's like, we thought you loved that. MAGA, if we're going to be a king, right? Here's the perfect summary of what's going on. Last year, around this time, Donald Trump promised to lower egg prices, right? MAGA cheered. Yay, he's going to lower price of egg. He get in, and he goes, I can't do that. Go fuck yourself. I ain't doing it. Right? This year, Mamdani says, I'm going to do lower egg prices. And everybody goes, New York City has fallen. And Mamdani, on top of that, even says, I'll give you a free bus. I know Hochul did whatever. They'll do anything to stop people in our country from getting help. But my point is the theory on it. Mamdani says, I'll even give you a free bus ride to that cheaper egg. And people fearmonger. The people that aren't millionaires. They're like, oh my God, New York City is falling. Oh, what's going on? And it's like, I thought last year, you idiots were cheering for cheaper egg prices. What's the difference between Donald Trump saying I'll lower groceries and Mamdani saying I'll lower groceries? Can you spot the difference? It's a big issue in America. But I think about shit like that and I go, how funny is it that, if Donald Trump tomorrow said we're doing universal health care, they'd cheer for it, So, hopefully that answered your question, Jacob. I didn't mean for you to send me on a tirade. You got my vote, Danny. Whoa, I thought that was $1.99. Oh my God, Danny. You almost made me say a bad word. Holy Pinocchios. Speaking of Pinocchios, Danny, you got my vote. Thank you so much for the $20 super chat. The $19.99. Did you hear that they made the last American penny? Save your pennies, folks. That's the other quintessential thing about the societies we're living in. How the wealth inequality is so great that the rich people who make the money are like, get rid of the penny. And I'm like, are you kidding? Somebody asked me the other day, did you want your penny and change? And I was like, what are you fucking thinking? Cool, give me that money. It's so crazy. But speaking of Pinocchio, and thank you again, Danny. That means so much. That really, this is so fucking rad. Because if you don't know, also the goal besides this stuff is for me to build up a huge coalition, community, spread out network. We got people in France, Egypt, South Africa, South America, Canada, trying to think, all over the world that jump in on the live stream, that join the Discord. We have a cool ass Discord too. And it's important to not only speak out, spread this message, but build those networks. I could teach you about Massachusetts. You could teach me about wherever you live. You know, you like the Egyptians that were jumping in on a live stream. Ku, shout out. He was here early in the early days, a year and a half ago. He was teaching us about how much a Big Mac is in Egypt and the conversion rate for American dollars. Fascinating stuff. I know it's weird, but I love learning things from people all over the world. But again, speaking of when I said holy Pinocchios, I was thinking, you know what? Donald Trump's kind of like Pinocchio, but instead of his nose growing, he gets oranger. I know that's stupid. Holy shit, MLE, thank you so much for the 20. It's time to organize now. MLE, thank you for the $20. Danny, thank you for the $20. Sid, thank you for the $5. Our world is sick. It is. But we have the antidote, guys. Like, we have the cure. You can look across, just like when America was founded, they looked across the world and said, what works, what doesn't? We're going to piecemeal this thing together. MLE, it's time to organize now. Really, America is ready for a new political party. 100%. That's why I've loosely been joking. I'll bring it up about the Bull Moose Party. It's been a joke, but a serious joke, if you get what I'm saying. Because again, I love history and reading about it. I was saying, let's start a Bull Moose Party. If you don't know about the Bull Moose Party, you look it up, read about it. They have these core beliefs, and I think we, modernize it clearly. But this is how you do it, And listen, you'll see him in the chat. They'll say, oh, stupid, he's just talking. Really, if that's the case, look at Polio Rogan and how much of an impact he had in the last election. If just talking is so stupid, they wouldn't be fear-mongering against trying to get me to shut up. This is important stuff. I'm a labor organizer as well. So I believe highly in unions, and how you do that is spreading the word, talking to people, getting questions answered and answering questions. You know what I mean? This is vital stuff. And if talk didn't matter, then why do they like Donald Trump? Because that's all he fucking does. That dude won't shut up. You know what I mean? So it is very vital. And that's why I do this here. Because I have a job. I'm going for a second job. I am supported by MLE, Sid, Jacob, Danny. You guys support this show. Ideally, what I was trying to say too, outside of rehashing the Bull Moose Party, Bull Moose Redux Part 2, this time we're serious. Besides that, my ideal scenario is, because I worked in radio, and what I loved about radio is we would have crossover with other shows. And I thought how fantastic it would be to have some kind of true left party for the people, like a Rainbow Coalition, Black Panther, Power to the People party, but in show format. So I could do an early show, then we kick it over to Valenti Vids, Valenti Vid, Chris Valenti, another leftist streamer. I just found another dude, West Side Tyler, yesterday, who's a fantastic, he makes fantastic videos. If you could check him out, I think I shared it, hit subscribe, hit the notification bell. I think I shared it in my community post. He did a video, The Black and White Realities of America. It's on Charlie Clan. I call him Clan, not Kirk, because he's a racist piece of shit. Rest in piss, asshole. But he did a great video. So I would love to have my show, cut in and do a crossover with Valenti Vids. And this is just my grand vision. I know my channel is small. Help me on the road to 10,000. They're much bigger, 100,000, 20-something thousand, million, thousand, kabillions. I get it, but still, I think big. This is what I want. This is my dream. I kick off the day, bring you that news in the morning. I cross over with Valenti or Chris Valenti or Westside Tyler. We have some, some chit chat, some back and forth like old timey radio. Then they do their show. Then they kick it to the next person. They kick it to the next person. They kick it to Hassan. Some more news is your 5 p.m. hardcore hitting news. Majority Report be the midday show. I would love to create some kind of true network for the people. And I think, it's important. And I think we have the technology. So I would love to see that happen. Again, just indulge me on my grand vision. Danny, thank you for the other 1999. Your party will is definitely for the people, 100%. Listen, you can't, I just don't know how you can think of yourself as a patriotic American and hear kids going hungry in your community, in your country, and be like, fuck them. And people were doing that, specifically politicians. And I don't give a shit what party they are. They're all bought and paid for. They're all puppets. They're all doing the fantastic jibber jabber of nonsense, And I just don't understand. And again, if you've ever been a child who has been hungry at some point, you'll understand that cruelty shouldn't exist in America. I know it exists in the world, but we have to start small. So we start with our country and then we grow. Danny, thank you so much. I hope, Danny, you've hit subscribe and the notification bell. Caleb, I love when people are like, you're a puppet too. Yeah, that's right. I'm a puppet for big working folks. Yeah, man, total puppet pushing to tax the people with all the money. Yeah, that's it. That makes sense, you moron. The people don't believe what you... Listen, if you're going to defend Charlie Kirk, you should fucking leave now. He was a racist asshole. If you just look up in Merriam-Webster's dictionary racism, it should be a picture of him. Because he clearly, this is how fucking warped Americans are. This is how uneducated they are. He said a racist statement. If I see a black guy as a pilot, I'm going to wonder if he's qualified. That is textbook racism. Now you, Professor X or whatever you said your name was, you might be too dumb or think you're too smart by whittling it away to, no, he really means this. But it's just flat out racism. If I'm the one to break that to you, hooray! It's good that I got to plant that seed in your stupid little brain. But I don't give a shit. If you like Charlie Clan, this show isn't for you. There are some people that are just, I don't believe there's hope for them. They're racists, misogynists, people that want to regulate women's bodies, people that are abusers and oppressors. Those people I'm not looking to court. You understand me? Do you understand? I don't want your fucking vote. Do you get me? I take pride in who my enemies are. And if you're a racist and you're like, well, you'll never fucking, get me on your side. Well, I don't know what to tell you, I don't know what to tell you. You wouldn't come into my family gatherings if you're a racist. You understand what I mean? You get what I'm saying. Do you understand? So I'm not trying to convince you to not be racist. The sad part is when we implement our policies, they'll benefit you. If you're, having a heart attack and going to die, instead of calling Uber, which is not going to help you save your life on the way to the hospital, but people do in America because it's cheaper than an ambulance ride. When we implement our policies, it will help you. And that's the difference between leftists and all other politicians. They want to capitalize on all this shit. We just want what's best for the people. So you can hold your grudge because Charlie Kirk was a racist asshole. Listen, you can pick that battle all you want. I don't give a fuck. It's not one for me, There's bigger things to deal with, like kids going hungry in America and people calling Uber instead of an ambulance. But okay. All right, guys. I think that's the show. We covered a ton. But again, hit subscribe, hit the notification bell, because if more emails keep leaking, we're going to follow up with this because, guys, this Epstein thing goes right to the top. And I want to know what else Vladimir... There were always the chit-chatterings, the chirping, the dogs that weren't barking about Vladimir Putin having something on Donald. You guys all know what I'm saying. I could just say that. We all know that there were certain tapes that were alleged to be Putin having on Donald, he was compromised. And now we're seeing in writing from 2018 in that email, hold on. Now, it's just shocking that now we're seeing in writing from 2018, Mark Epstein saying, ask if Vladimir Putin still has the photos of Trump blowing bubba. Unreal, right? President's compromised? I don't know. Release the files. Prove that he's not. It's really concerning that if this was a different name, Biden, Obama, MAGA would be, president would be impeached, uproarious. But because it's a cult leader, a guy who does gender-affirming tanning and makeup every day. That's gender-affirming, by the way. Just like Elon Musk does gender-affirming hair pieces in his head. Tim Pool does gender-affirming hats. Donald Trump does gender-affirming makeup. But go on and talk about how you're against that, MAGA. But this is a serious story, whether you want to acknowledge it or not. And it's also the largest ring of creeps and predators that this earth has ever known. So we're going to stay on top of it. Danny, Jacob, ML, thank you guys for supporting the show. I can't do it without you. And if you could, hit subscribe, especially if you're new here, and then hit the notification bell, okay? Because I do go live every weekday. The weekend's a little bonus thing. We like to have some fun. We like to joke about the news. We like to show you the old Donna Lewinsky memes, the old to think the real ballroom was his mouth all along. They're referencing the Jeffrey Epstein Memorial Ballroom. But until Monday, unless something crazy happens tomorrow, until Monday, let's hope not, guys. Epstein's emails take a day off. Till Monday, I'll see you then. Be kind to each other, love one another, support your local union, organize, 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 okay? And like Jesus said, love your neighbor unselfishly. No asterisk, just love your neighbor, all right? Peace.